right. So today we're talking to Russell Winfield, who's a bona fide OG and legendary pro. Started snowboarding in the 80s back east with yours truly, part of the Ride Snowboard's A team, and made such a huge impact on snowboarding in the 90s for progression and style. Now, Russell Winfield is a multi hyphenate, apparel creative director, style icon, and guest of our podcast. Let's go, Russ.
Most importantly, guest of your podcast. Thank you both for allowing me the space.
So, Russell, you were just telling a story about the first time you met Trisha and the gear you were riding. Let's let that run back through again because that
Okay,
was
let's first start about the first time I met Trisha, who had on. We're just going to go through a
yeah.
quick
Let's do an outfit check.
Style.
For sure.
outfit recap. It was a thermal shirt under, like a t-shirt. It was probably like OP or some cool
I like
something
that.
with shorts and long johns, like neon long johns, with the Burton boots that were like tan leather and brown on the bottom. And I was like,
Yes.
and probably a headband.
Definitely a headband. No hats.
What
Yeah.
was happening with the weather?
The weather
sounds
was
like
freezing.
a wet butt.
Cold AF. Cold AF.
Yeah, it was cold.
Okay.
Now to less important stuff, the binding. Burton had the one like the water ski binding and then the rubber band, and then the next iteration was just like a toe strap that was attached to the board and like a heel cup. And that's when I entered the game. They had a mid-season update where you could get them to rivet in these really long, clear plastic high backs. You remember
Yeah.
those?
Yeah.
But I didn't have that. I waited till the next year and
That
got.
was like the milk jug high back that they kind of put on because they had seen the HYBAKS high backs from Jeff Grell out west and kind of like had a last minute epiphany.
Yeah, they were like, "Ooh, we blew it. Let's fix this."
Take us into that world of like, what was that like riding that binding compared to like
going no
today?
high back to high back. Yeah.
Well, I'd like to liken it to not having electricity and then all of a sudden having electricity. It is what it is. Like,
Yeah, you don't know what you don't know.
You don't
You're
know any better, right? Like, you're like, oh, shoot. Like, I was just happy that it was strapped to my feet.
Yeah.
That's how primitive it was. We kind of hit it right at the sweet spot. Maybe a few years too early. If we would have been like in the Peter Line thing, we might have made a little bit more money, but. But where we were was cool because we got to like, we saw this graph of it go from like this to like technology and innovation. Just, it was like
like a bell
every
curve.
year
Yeah.
it was just crazy. So it went from like that to, I remember the Sims. I think after that I rode like a barfoot that had like the modified Sims bindings where bindings went like this, right? They were supposed to, like you're supposed to lock them on the outside.
Yep.
And I remember a lot of people, and I think maybe your brother locked them on the inside. Like people had their own little weird way of doing
Tweaking
it.
everything. Yeah.
Yeah, and so because like locking them on the outside would kind of get you flat, but locking them on the inside would like pseudo cant your feet a little bit, so you could be inside. You could get your Craig leg good. Your back knee would
Yeah.
be in there. After that, I went to the Sims bindings on a look board, and then
I remember
Burton.
that era of you.
That era was
What was he
It was
wearing?
so
Trisha?
sick.
like,
Just
bro.
like a descente, a descente
You were?
suit.
Oh,
and-
I had a level one piece
Yeah.
with the headband and the mini dreads and like some big ass boleys doing hand plants at the bottom of the pipe. Oh,
And the
those days.
look had the cutouts on the nose. Yeah.
Yeah, the
Extra
nose and
tweak.
tail.
Yeah.
The trick stick. I rode the little one too. 100 miles per hour, and it was literally a saucer. Like it had rocker, and it was like concave. So it was
The
just
original
like
rocker unintentionally.
yeah, it was like you had to really lean it over to get on edge, but didn't really care about it. It was just like high speed skittering to everything, right?
Not much carving going on.
No, that was for the morning when Susie made us a race.
That was
yes.
awesome.
Well, you talked about a little we sort of talked about the like little mods and hacks and things like that. Were there any throughout any of this time period you remember doing to get like the bindings to like perform better or just
Well,
ride better?
so many. We'll just use like we'll take the whole foot, right? So in the race boot, we'd use Reichley's, which are
Yeah.
still big boots. They're like the full tilts now. The K2s we cut because they're two piece. So you pull the top piece off and you cut the bottom piece like in the back further out so it's softer. Um,
Oh,
we would
Oh
do that.
yeah.
And then we would, this is probably the year, like with the mystery air year. First, you would shift your high backs, right? This was the year before
Trisha
the.
learned about that
I learned that
recently.
in 2007.
Really?
I'm like,
Trish.
I was
Doug
not
was
you
probably
guys.
the
just
box
doing
kind of
it
girl.
for
You guys were taking care of me, to be honest. Like I went straight from like the Stratton crew, basically hooking me up with like wax and tuning to the U.S. team. So yeah, it took me a little while to figure out what's
To
going
figure
on
out,
with my
oh,
own
wow.
equipment.
Yeah, you're like, wow, my high backs are weird. It's like, Trish, it's been like that since 90.
Totally.
Really? So we'd spin the high backs to be like parallel, I guess it's called, perpendicular with the edge, right?
Yep.
And then we would drill the ankle strap down lower onto the flat part of the
Oh.
binding so that you could get a little bit more tweak in there.
Oh,
It's
okay.
all about the
Yes.
tweak.
So
It
what
was
were some grabs that you were like we were just reviewing the 1991 Burton catalog and Brushy's just doing these insane
Taipans, Japans, mutes, everything was tuck knee
Were you
or
doing
like
that shit?
of
Yeah.
course, like that was it. Like especially back east, all we had was a half pipe.
Yeah.
And it was good. Like when it was good, everybody was there. Like and you'd know. And be like, it's good, they're cutting the
You're
pipe.
like, what was that?
Lyle's here.
Oh,
Yeah.
the
Run up
yellow
from the Burns house.
backhoes going.
Yeah.
Totally.
Lyle's in the pipe today. It's gonna be so sick tomorrow. Trevor's coming up tomorrow night.
Totally. That was a scene.
Yeah.
Oh my
It
gosh.
was. Good
Do you
times.
remember cutting down, like, to go into the low back era? Do you remember cutting down bindings?
Yeah, so I think probably because I'm an East Coast guy, I like my timeline all starts with like where the Burton was. Like
Yeah.
that's my product timeline
Yeah.
until Ride, of course. So it was the black freestyle binding with the white high back in the air.
Yep.
And Burton, as much as they loved freestyle, they had such a race heritage. I believe that everything they did had to have like you had to be able to turn like use the high back fully to turn and like we were like but it's just too much and I can't tweak well, it's too much high back, so we would cut the high backs down. And like with most things in life, like that just got taken way too far by people. And
Oh
then
yeah.
like it got back to no back and that really wasn't either.
Do you remember when the horseshoe ride binding came into play and sort of the development of that binding?
Yeah, so everything that we had going was because we were trying to achieve something. And like the bindings, the base plates were so thick and we just wanted to skateboard, right? And so skateboarders got to feel their boards. And so we figured that riding rails and doing all the stuff we were doing, we wanted to feel the board. So we didn't see a need for a base plate.
Yeah.
We were like, we'll get better board feel if we don't, like we wore the Airwalk boots, the low tops with the wetsuit sock that was a liner. So it was just like a Sorel with a wetsuit sock, and it was about that tall. The whole
Yeah, you're
boot.
basically wearing shoes.
It was pretty sick. I'm not
Warm
gonna lie.
shoes. Yeah.
Yeah, they weren't even really that warm because they were leak, and then it would just be like wetsuit sock foot
Oh yeah.
wet.
Swamp foot.
Yeah. So Jake and Hubach designed the horseshoe binding, and it was pretty funny. Like I remember being at Jackson Hole, like when we first got the prototypes, and we had to put duct tape over how the attachment because that was the secret sauce.
Oh.
Oh, because you didn't want other people to see it.
To see it,
Oh.
yeah. But we were riding it, so like I remember being on the gondola for this Transworld thing, and Tony Magnuson was like staring at my board, like looking at it, and I was like, "Yeah, you don't know what's under there, bro." And we had like the low backs, kind of funny because we put forward lean activator thingies in there. It's like you're not gonna like what?
On
You
the
gotta
low
look at that.
back.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I love the image of you in the Jackson Hole gondola too, like heading up to ride like fucking steep ass
Deep
terrain,
powder.
big
With
mountain
with
terrain.
no high backs.
No high backs, and a 150. Like, just jumping off everything, didn't care.
I want to hear a little more about like the world that fed into this baseless binding, because like I remember you and I met when you're living in the Vale Valley. You were living up the road from me. Hijinks ensued. You guys spun out into our pasture or something on a snowy
Probably.
night after the bars closed. My dad rolled out with a gun and was like, "Who the fuck are these people?" But anyway,
We're your neighbors, sir.
I
We
just
don't mean any harm.
I just remember it being just the energy around like what Tarquin was bringing in and stuff, of it being about like, yeah, just jibbing. Was that kind of what fed into this idea of like baseless bindings?
Well, yeah, I think it's like it was all just part of what the whole thing is, which was just like progression. Like we wanted to progress everything, and we didn't care what everybody else was doing. Like we were like, this is what we're doing, this is why. And the longer you live, the more you're like, well, there's people that are going to sit there and just follow, and then there's people that are just going to go and do their own thing. And once you become successful doing your own thing, then you become the followed, right? So everybody saw us doing this stuff and ride booths at the trade shows and our boards and the bindings and the apparel. And it's like, everybody's like, well, that's working. So we don't got to think about it. We just need to do that.
Back to that binding. What was it like to ride? Did it fulfill on its promise?
It did. You can definitely feel the snow more under your foot with no piece of plastic, which is, not crazy to think. And the thing is, none of the bindings were comfortable.
Yeah,
Truth.
agree.
So it's just like these days, I'm just like Cadillac, right? Like I'm out there just like, I also wore boots that were 2 sizes too small so that I could fit onto a narrower board. These days, I'm like, we go a
You don't
half
need
size.
to. Yeah.
You don't need to. I go a half size. I wear like a size 10 boot, full size. But there were so many other important things than comfort,
Yeah.
right? It was style,
I mean, let's
being
be
able
honest,
to do
that
your
was first.
trick. Yeah, that was it. It was
Styles
pretty
first.
much all about style and how you like it was now snowboarding, it seems like how many,
Yeah.
and back then it was how,
Yeah.
right? And neither is superior. It's just a different way of looking at the same situation. But I think because of the lack of age of the sport, the how was more important because we could control the elements that allowed us to do it a certain way.
Yeah.
Whereas now kids aren't, I don't know too many kids that understand side cut radius or chords or any of that. They're just like, give me that one and I'm going to go send it off that thing and I'm going to spin it around 8 times. And
They don't
land
have
perfect.
to. Yeah, it's all done for them. Yeah, totally.
Yeah. Like there was bad equipment back in the day, and now it's like even the worst stuff is totally rideable,
Oh,
Like
yeah,
there's
it's
so
all
much
good.
comfort and so much, like it's been tweaked to perfection almost.
Yeah. I mean, now they have the step ins and step ons and step throughs and step overs and all sorts of different iterations of that. And maybe when I'm 70, I'll need that. But I'm, until now, I'm strapping on, bro.
Were you guys aware of like the Tech 9 baseless bindings?
Oh, we were years before that.
Oh, okay.
We were the first.
All right. Okay.
Come on, Jen Sharowski.
It's a
The
little
internet is confusing, my friend.
it's a little hazy when
It's
you're
not hazy to me. Like, I don't even
Beautiful.
think Tech 9 was a brand when we first had our first.
When did it
our
come
first
out? When was your first prototype?
92?
Oh yeah, that was
Okay.
before.
I don't know if this is the truth or not, but I know that Jake and Hubach sold the technology. So, like, all wakeboards use the base technology from the horseshoe binding, or used to at least.
Hopefully they made some money from that.
I would imagine.
Let's talk a little bit about the binding as a thing. Like, is it important to snowboarding? You know, like, what would we have done if the binding never coalesced and we were back there with like straps and water ski boots and shit like that?
We'd be at the golf course.
Yeah, it probably would have been great, honestly. Like, there wouldn't have been any Olympics or anything like that. But I think, just like with everything, the technology needs to keep happening because people need to keep selling stuff, right? I still to this day, like, mess with my bindings. Like, I very rarely, like, get a pair of bindings and just stick them on. Like, I'll use this base plate from this one and take a high back from another binding in the line and put the straps on from another binding in the line. Like, I like a really stiff base plate and a really soft high back because I like to snowboard with my feet.
So you're like riding the torsional flex. That's cool. I think the binding's kind of mysterious because it's something is just a connector piece of equipment, but it is so crucial and important. Like you're saying, you want to dial it in and tune it in, but there's a lot of complex technology going on with it. I don't know if people know how to think about it. It's not like an aspirational piece of equipment that people are like, did you get the new blah, 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 you know?
Yeah.
Well, it is, though, these days, right? Like, did you get the Union Falcor, Travis Rice's, bro, the Falcor thing in the back with the graphite whoop-de-whoop and the injection mold and the blah, 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 and the Burton Cartel or the Ride A7, but you could ride the 8.
You're right. I'm wrong because I'm not a tech person.
We're not tech enough. You're right. Yeah, or tweakers,
I am such a tech nerd.
That's why we brought you in, Russell.
I'm such a gear. Like, I love the design stuff. I love to know why, right? And I like to do certain things that are gonna make it work different. And if you're not that person, you probably have a pair of something from 10 years ago, and you know what? You probably wouldn't know the difference.
Are you feeling seen, Trisha?
I mean, if it works and your feet don't hurt, then don't.
I think that's the thing. Like, we've gotten to a point where our feet don't hurt, but like the binding along the way was so important. Kind of what you're talking about, where you're tweaking it and testing it and trying to find, like, collectively, the snowboard community was trying to find the binding that was going to solve foot pain, give you control, give you flex, give you stiffness, whatever you want. You know, you need out of it. And I feel like that's the history of the binding, is that we've evolved it to a point where there is sort of like, there's a baseless in the Burton line now, and there's a step on, and there's something for everyone, but like, we're all staying in our own lane, riding our own thing.
Yeah. I mean, it's like cars. Like, not everybody wants a sports car. Not everybody wants a pickup. Not everybody wants an SUV, but they have them all. And so everybody can get what they want that's going to work for them. Right.
But like back then it was like, we all just want the
a
station
comfortable
wagon.
Binding. Yeah.